Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of General Geekery. Let's see, episode number. Geez, we really should start numbering these things to be all fancy and shit. But
Why should we start now? We've been doing this thing for years, literally, without ever
we did at the
counting.
beginning. But anyway, as usual, with me here is JD.
Hello.
And another special guest, second week in a row. We've got a customizer that's better than both of us put together. And that's Johnny of KR Customs. Thank you for joining.
He's not wrong.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I really thank you for the compliment too, because I feel like I barely know what I'm doing. I watch your tutorials to figure stuff out, man.
Well, I'm glad that they're useful. I mean, that's why I put it up there, man. It's I get a lot of commission requests and I can't do them. So I'm like, here, learn how to do it yourself, and you'll probably enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah,
than paying somebody else to do it.
Well, and I've been a fan of KR stuff ever since last year. I saw that Create a Cobra that he posted. I'm like,
that's the one that drew me in.
I'm like,
that
holy shit. That thing inspired me to make my own Real American Hero version of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, sometimes you get one of those customs in your head and it sticks in there and it's like, yeah, I got to make my own. So,
yep.
Yeah, that one came by chance. Actually, we were doing the COVID thing happened, and a bunch of guys on HISSTank, we were just kind of bored and was like, hey, y'all want to do a project and just throw out some characters and then everyone try and do one. And so someone threw that out there, and I had some parts laying around. I was like, let's just see what happens. I don't know. I didn't have the guys as a kid. I always thought it was cool looking, but yeah, it just kind of came together. And then JD hit me up like right after, and you made a vintage version, which looks awesome too.
It did come out nice. And yeah, I never had that figure myself, and I love those contests. Not even contests, the like group projects where everybody gets together and it's like, hey, let's pick something and do it. And JD, we need to talk about ours.
Yeah, we sure do.
I'm waiting for you to pick a scale, man.
Oh, are you waiting on me?
Always.
Yeah, I know. He's not wrong. No, all right, you know what? We're probably just gonna go with the modern 3 3/4 inch stuff.
So you're gonna do modern.
Yeah, just like I did with those Beagle Warriors I did last year. So
all right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now that JD has picked us, so what we're doing is JD and I did a contest. Well, I keep calling it a contest. It's not really a contest.
A challenge. It's a
challenge. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
And then exchange, like a customs exchange.
Yeah, exactly. So JD, 2 figures, same as last time.
Yes.
JD makes a list of figures that he'd like to see in my style. I mean, he picks a long list, and I pick 2 off of that list, and then I pick 2, or JD picks 2 off of the list that I put together that I want to see in his style. And then when he's out in October, we will do the reveal and exchange. We'll do it live on Facebook or probably YouTube, like we did last time.
Yep.
And see, now this is like the best thing that JD's dating my best friend, is because I'll get to see him more often.
That's cool. Yes. So what last year what'd y'all do?
That's a good question.
Last year he made for me Cadet Deming and a Ninja Force Night Creeper. And for him I made an Eevee Range Viper and what was it, Guillotine?
Yeah, Guillotine.
Yeah, the plate
dinosaur to go with her.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah. And last year,
did you do them like modern, or did you do them in the vintage style?
Well, mine were vintage because that's what I was working on at the time. I was in the vintage customizing mode, and so that's just how they came out. Whatever medium I happen to be working on when these ideas come to me, that's just how they end up getting done. I went for years doing modern stuff, and then I got kind of, I don't want to say disillusioned, but I got kind of tired of seeing modern repaints of things. Well, it was the club. They repainted so many parts so many times, like those shock viper legs and
Good legs though.
or the shock. Well, yeah, they're great, except that there was a point there where every club figure coming out had shock trooper parts on it, and I was looking at my own customs. I'm like, some of mine use the same parts, and I got annoyed, and I switched over to the well. Plus, the modern line ended with the 50th line, and so for a long while, I went back to the Real American Hero, the vintage style stuff, and then last year when I was at Brian's, I finally decided I wanted to knock out my Eco Warriors customs because people who know me. I've got a tattoo of all the Eco Warriors around my arm.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
I didn't have any customs of them. Some of these characters have been rattling around in my head for more than a decade, but I never had customs. And then I was Brian's, and I'm like, well, because initially I was going to do the Real American Hero stuff, but I don't have any of the vintage ones. No, I had most of the vintage ones when I was a kid. I don't have them now, and I'm not willing to sell appendages or body parts to get money to buy Toxel Vipers and Sludge Vipers, and even some of the Joes. They're expensive. So,
yeah.
But since I already had the club's version of Clean Sweep, Flint, and Ozone from the convention, I decided, well, why don't I finish the team lineup with modern figures? And I ended up doing that. So I inadvertently switched to the modern style for a little bit. But you know what? I'm just going to show them off here because I've got a tendency, it drives Brian insane, that I make customs and then I never end up photographing them.
Yep.
So I never end up posting them online. And I just chalk it up to, you know what? I just made this for me and who cares? But you know what? Just for this, I'll show them off right here. So it's like a general Geekery podcast exclusive because after I do this, I'm going to feel like it's complete anyways. So to fill in the gaps, the original extension that Hasbro did on the team was Barbecue and Deep Six. A year after that, they were supposed to, but Snowstorm and Outback were supposed to be Eco Warriors, but the Eco Warrior subline was canceled. So they got rolled into the Battle Core line and then repainted in slightly less Eco Warrior colors. But for my purposes, they're Eco Warriors, so that's why they're included here. And also, I included Airtight because this is a perfect figure Hasbro made, and I don't know why Airtight wasn't part of the lineup in the first place.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
So, I mean, he's a bit more obvious as an Eco Warrior than Deep Six is, but I'll start with Deep Six because the one thing I've always said is that Deep Six version 2 in the diving suit was amazing. And Eco Warriors Deep Six is a stupid ass figure. It's a stupid ass figure on its own. And as Deep Six,
no, come on, that dolphin's awesome.
Well, yeah, no, the dolphin's great, but the figure itself doesn't look like Deep Six. It's one of many characters that I'm convinced was supposed to be somebody else, and he got slapped with an old file name on it. So my Eco Warriors Deep Six is a modern interpretation of version 2.
Were you working on that out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. I'm like, hey, that looks familiar.
Yep. So it used a Fortnite head, so it didn't have quite the big bulb on its head. But yeah, and I just translated the color scheme. So
nice. That came out nice.
In fact, some of these parts.
JD sent me a picture of it right before we started. So I got a little early sneak peek, and it's awesome looking.
Well, what happened was he showed me an Outback custom he was working on. So I showed him the Eco Warriors version that I'd made. And then I was like, well, shit. All right, I'll just show them off here. So here is my Eco Warrior / Battle Core style Outback.
Ooh.
I love this version of Outback. Most customized or most collectors don't care about it. But
what helmet is that?
It's from Chatmay line from like the early 2000s. I had this helmet when the head that it was molded to in my collection for a decade before I ever used it.
See, and I have this theory that a custom lives and dies by the head that's on that figure.
Yeah, and in this case, the head, it's a cast that AVAX Lab made of the Outback head sculpt that the club made. I just dremeled the hair off so I could attach the hard hat to it. But I like this version of Outback because at the time it came out, in the early 2000s, the environmental movement was on the rise, and there were a lot of conservation groups that were gaining prominence in the world because they were going to new efforts for environmental protection. So you had like the Sierra Club and Earth First, and it made perfect sense to me that a survivalist, a naturalist like Outback would go that route and try to combat eco-terrorism as part of one of those groups, which I kind of like the idea that maybe he influenced the creation of the Eco Warriors in the first place. And then Cesspool came along to speed up those plans because, Cobra hired him and they're like, well, okay, well, this just got much worse.
I could see him and Deep Six being like part of the Sea Shepherds.
Yes, exactly. So on that note, so there's Deep Six, there's Outback. All right, here's my barbecue. Again, he's the Eco Warriors version, but he's mostly actually parts from the modern version of the original barbecue update because when you've got a mostly perfect figure already, you just repaint it in the appropriate colors.
Yeah, no, I like
it. How bad did you hate doing all that yellow?
Actually, oddly enough, the color that I picked just happened to be perfect out of the bottle, and actually that's only 3 coats instead of 75 coats.
What did you use? What type?
I don't know. You know what? I'll look through my stuff after and find it because I thought for sure that it was going to be a nightmare, and it turned out to not be that bad. He happens to have a swappable head, so he's got the unmasked.
Oh,
Holy
cool.
shit.
Nice.
Probably helps if I put the head on so he doesn't have a giraffe neck. But and then last but not least,
man, that's a bitch to paint. I don't touch it unless I use my airbrush anymore.
Well, and I almost never do, but whatever that brand was, I think it was Army Painter, I think the brand was Army Painter, and whatever that color was, it was, in fact,
that's
because I'll forget, and because Brian will end up asking me which color it was. Oh shit, where?
I got the gray and the red, pure red of that. Try it.
Well, then this red, that is what it is. It's pure red.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know which yellow it was, but
so I got a couple.
Yeah, that's it. Because when I got back here after visiting Brian's house last year, I went and I bought a bottle of that red so I could use it for barbecue.
And I like
John,
the
hold those up again.
Flesh too. I use a lot of that.
I don't have that one. Johnny, hold those bottles up again.
Still don't have good success with them, but I started using the airbrush recently, and it worked pretty good.
Yeah, airbrush. I'm telling you, you don't have to have a lot of skill with the airbrush if you're just laying down base coats, and that's like right now I'm like transitioning from doing base coats to doing something a little more fancy with it. But oh man, I saved a shitload of time laying down base coats. I mean, like days worth of work.
Yeah,
using my airbrush, and I can paint orange because I am still working on my topside custom.
Yeah, I saw.
So I did all the orange with the airbrush.
Your prime version looked really cool.
Like my female alley viper, I would never have hand painted that. I would have given up on that years ago, and I got it done in one day when JD was here.
Hand painting orange sucks.
Yeah.
So I did find an orange that works. Well, it says it's red, but when I paint, it looks like it's orange. So it's the Vallejo.
Okay.
And it's amaranth red. I don't know.
Okay.
I've got like 8 different Vallejo colors, but I don't have that one.
So I did a barbecue in it. Right, but it looks orange.
Ooh,
that does look orange. Oh, dude, that's badass.
Yeah, that looks production right there, man.
Yeah, that does
Yeah,
look
so
production.
it looks orange. It says it's red though, but yeah, it goes on like that. No
Nice.
no issues with it, right? Like 1-2 coats maybe, and you're good to go.
I need some of that now because I need to do a barbecue custom. I got an idea that I've been kicking around for a while now. I gotta sort. I'm pretty sure I got the parts for it too. I just got to.
For what, barbecue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
All right.
All right.
Before
hang on. The last of my Eco Warriors and then Snowstorm.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, the head is off a Leonard figure that I just added the faceplate. The backpack and the front chest piece are off a Hydra Soldier from the Captain America line.
Man.
Cool.
The legs are, I don't even know where, but they're dremeled out and they're fused together. Basically, this is parts of like 8 different figures together.
Nice.
So
I'm telling you, man, heads are where it's at. If you got a decent head on a custom that looks like crap, it's still going to be a cool custom, especially if it's something that you don't, a part that isn't used frequently.
Yeah, that's a huge improvement from the Battle Core one.
well, and since he was available in 3 different color schemes, I went with the one that was eco-ish, but I darkened it up just a bit and he's gray because fuck painting white.
Yeah.
Airbrush, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. I hate it.
So is Cyber Viper, is he a bad guy from the Eco Warriors or not?
Yeah, he's a Mega Marines bad guy.
Mega Marines.
Yeah.
I can never remember which one. So there's
that's
Viper,
okay because if
right?
you look at the Mega Marines and the Eco Warriors together, if you didn't know better, you wouldn't know that they aren't all from the same team because they're all obnoxious.
I still want one though.
Man, I saw one at JoeFest loose, but it was way too much. It was out of my price range.
Yeah, cool, I know those are gonna be. I'm gonna have to save up for those. I think because
Like Johnny, how much was it?
The Mega Viper and the Mega Viper and the Cyber Viper are like my 2 grails right now.
Yeah, how much was the loose one? Just curious.
The loose one was 48 with no accessories, just the figure, and I was like, oof.
What? They're crazy.
Like probably a good price, but yeah, just a little bit out my range for it.
It probably is, and I know there's a scarcity thing, but honestly, that is just a ridiculous amount of money for a loose Joe that was not an exclusive and doesn't have anything with it.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a modern one now. I got a build for one. I'll show it to you.
Oh.
Someone asked me to do some neon stuff, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And they threw out the Cyber Viper, right? And I didn't know where to go with it. But so this is where I'm at right now.
Holy shit, dude.
That looks awesome.
Oh my God. What'd you do with how did you get the head?
So I got that from AVAX.
Okay. All right.
I've got to get stuff from him. I can never get in on his ordering time.
Oh, dude, I've ordered so many parts from AVAC, some of which I use, some of which I didn't, but I love his stuff.
Yeah, well, I hit him up because I was like, hey, he had a couple pieces on there, and I knew he was shutting the store down. And he was like, yeah, man, just tell me what you need. I'll send you an invoice, and we'll hook it up. So he did.
God
but
damn.
he's got a bat arm too. So
ooh,
I chopped a bat arm apart, put it on there.
Dude, that claw and that whole apparatus, dude, I love that.
Yeah, that's gonna be bitching when it's finished.
So the paint's my biggest worry, right? So I don't know what to do for neon. I went to the store. Y'all tell me if these could work, but
check the Vallejo line.
Is this? I've never used anything like this.
They're okay. Before. You're gonna have to coat them pretty well to get them to stay on, but they'll
seal it too.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're gonna have to, but I mean they will achieve what you're looking for.
I haven't
seen it. Think it'll go through a dry brush or airbrush?
Yeah, if you use a little bit thinner and use a
I think so.
Accelerator or the flow improver.
Yeah, the flow improver stuff, right?
Got a little bottle flow improver. My secret recipe seems to be 3 drops of flow improver and 3 drops of thinner.
All right, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna challenge me to, but don't even bother putting Cyber Viper on that list. I am not trying to follow that shit up.
No.
Johnny's version of the Cyber Viper might well be the definitive custom ever.
Yeah, I was just
so
thinking.
I'm not even trying to follow it that
list.
way.
After seeing that, I was
I'm
like,
gonna fall down on that all kinds of
And
ways.
we'll see if we could see if I can pull it off. I don't know, but
Dude, you're already there. Just fuck it. Call it a done custom.
Yeah, absolutely. That thing's gonna look beautiful when it's finished.
Yeah,
So,
I am not following those footsteps. But
Johnny was at JoeFest this weekend.
Yes, he
Johnny,
got to
tell
go.
us all about it.
Please do tell us all about it.
I
was living vicariously through you.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, we're hitting each other up like a bunch of times, but yeah, my first JoeFest, my first any convention. I've never been to anything.
Oh, so, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not too far from here. It's only like 4.5 hours away. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. I had tickets last year, and then I couldn't go because of COVID, and my work was like, nah, you can't go to a group thing yet. So got to go. Went to the Marauder event on Friday night. So I got in like in the middle of the day. Went to that, and that was awesome. Like so many reveals, so much cool stuff there.
So I gotta ask, what did you see in the Marauder thing?
Yeah, so I don't know what he's revealed or not, but the Vietnam Kickstarter, right? It's coming out, I think, this week, like Wednesday or something. And the pictures were awesome. Like,
yeah, he hasn't showed any pictures yet, so
we've got to see them. So bare arms are coming, bare chest, combat boots.
Nice,
right? Like everything people have been asking for, it's coming.
Combat.
It was awesome.
Oh shit!
They're doing there's like
those
seals,
are the magic
they're doing
words.
Seals, they're doing like
fucking jungle boots.
They're doing they're doing some of like the Vietnam guys, like the Viet Cong, whatever, right? So they've got a whole bunch of different versions of stuff. So it looks awesome.
So
got a Gigabread's cast head. Well, it's one of his custom heads of Tom Skerritt. Is that not Tom Skerritt?
Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger's character from Platoon. I've been holding on to this thing for a year, and I'm waiting for that Vietnam Kickstarter because I'm going to do his character from Platoon. I got it where I know where it is, where it's safe, and it's not going to disappear on me because I'm waiting for those figures to do that custom.
Why, you're not going to make Charlie Sheen too?
You will have the parts. You're going to have the parts for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm looking forward to those because I'm going to do a series of Vietnam era Navy SEALs too.
Well, and I'm looking forward to those because Netflix Cobra Kai, there was the flashbacks to when John Kreese and Terry Silver were over in Vietnam. I'm like, ooh, I'll be able to make customs of them. So
nice.
Yeah.
So what else did you see there?
Yeah, so they're also working on the like the Ultra line, which looks really cool. I think that's the one where he's got like the butterfly joints in the shoulders.
Okay.
So they can pose more. You can like put like the pose like this if you wanted. You could like actually have their arms kind of do different things. The head swivels a lot more.
Sweet.
So it's going to be like the butterfly joints that the classified line has, but in the 3 3/4 inch scale.
Yeah,
or the 4-inch scale.
It didn't look like the traditional butterfly joints that we've seen though. It looked a lot more seamless. So I was like, oh, this is really cool and
interesting.
It may be coming a lot sooner than people think.
I did not know that was even going to be a thing.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed there was a whole bunch of other stuff they showed. Like there was like a space line, an aqua line, like all these things that had never been talked about. They were teased and we saw pictures and
wait a minute.
It was cool.
Hang on. Marauder is doing the aqua stuff and space stuff?
They teased some pictures of it.
Shit.
Nice.
Man,
JD and I have been Marauder customers since wave 1 of the guns. And I'm totally looking forward to that just for customs.
I would have never imagined them going into space stuff, but holy shit.
I don't know how far out we're looking at stuff like that, but
it won't matter because
it was cool.
once all that stuff is up there, and once the Vietnam stuff is up there, nobody's ever going to be able to use the website. It's going to be crashed all the time.
Yep.
With people trying to stockpile the newest
it'll be an
MTF
8
stuff.
week. It'll be like an 8-week wait to get stuff.
Yeah. I hope I'm allowed to talk. He said like no photos, so I hope we're good at talking about it. But
this probably won't get posted till. I think he's gonna talk. I think he's gonna do something tomorrow. So I mean, this won't get posted until later. And yeah, we're not showing any photos. So
yeah, it's awesome looking stuff. They're doing also female bare arms and shorts.
Nice.
That's coming.
Nice.
It was cool. A lot of stuff is coming from them.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
then,
almost all of my customs recently have been Marauder bodies because it's just they're inexpensive compared to regular Joe stuff, and they're so versatile. You know, it's one of the things I learned from Joy Toy is like you can use the same buck over and over again as long as you put a decent paint job and give it some good accessories. It doesn't matter what the buck is.
Yeah. You know, it was funny too because I used to be like, oh, the club is reusing that, and then I look at my customs and I'm like, man, I've reused that same part for like 40 of my customs now, so I can't say that anymore.
Yeah, no, I used to say the same thing. It's like man, I'm sick of this. But after Joy Toys started putting stuff out using the same buck, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it just needs a decent paint job and some cool accessories.
And it did bother me, you know, back in the day, and then I think it was maybe the way it was kind of used, like overused. With there were better parts available at the time. But I mean, Marauder parts, to me, they're superior, right? They're like the quality of them is great. They're affordable. I don't have to like go get a $40 figure to bust apart.
I don't have to worry about it breaking either.
Right? Yeah. So, and Johnny is our new best friend because Johnny did some shopping for us.
Yes, so he did.
I don't know what JD got, and JD doesn't know what I got. So we're gonna do like a reveal, and then I got a big bag. Ooh boy.
Oh yeah. So I haven't gone through everything since I got home. I wanted to keep it all like fresh.
I was say, dude, you've been home for like 2 hours or something.
So I drove home last night. I got in like pretty late, around like 12 or 1-ish. So woke up and just kind of hung out with the family this morning. But
probably a good idea. Ooh, motor. That's yours or somebody else's?
No, that's mine.
So that's Brian.
No, that's Brian's. Okay.
I'm trying to go. I'm still collecting the vintage Vipers, so that was one of the few. I still need a few Viper. Most of the drivers I need. Star Viper, yes, thank you. That looks beautiful.
There's a really good quality one too.
You know, I only just realized the Star Viper. Look at that color scheme. That is an Iron Grenadier. Why did they make it into a Cobra? I only just realized.
Yeah.
That is way more Iron Grenadier than Cobra ever could have been. That's weird. I have never picked up on that till just now. But that's because I was thinking about that female one that you did.
Yeah.
Gyro Viper. Nice.
Gyro Viper, yep.
So this deal was so good, I was like, I got to get one for myself too.
Sweet. Nice.
So I went and picked up 2 of them.
Yeah, look at that.
But yeah, I mean, like even the paint apps on the nose were still there. I was like, man, these are great.
Awesome, fantastic. So, thank you very much. So that's what I got was the Motor Viper, the Gyro Viper, and the Star Viper. Those probably will be my next 2 female customs.
Sweet.
Picked up a Astro Viper, right? Really, I just wanted the parts, but they had everything $15. I was like, I've never seen it for that.
$15. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good price.
I didn't realize that was the price. Figure. I thought it was like the inventory number that they put on there. Like this.
Oh no. Yeah, they were selling these for 10, right? The Astro Viper for 15.
Wait,
I was like, yeah, definitely.
Helmet and with the nose paint, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They came from the toy department. They had like a big booth over there. They had a huge setup actually, and they had prices that were incredible. So I did get one of my own Grails, and he didn't have it displayed. And he's just like, is anyone looking for anything specific? And I just threw it out there like,
well, there's a card.
Probably not, but whatever. So it's on a card. And I was like, do you have the Chinese Tiger Force Flint. And he looks back at me and he goes, Falcon? And I said, yep, you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Nice.
And he pulls out a box from under the table. He starts rummaging through it. And sure enough,
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Wow.
so
The headhunter
said-
shotgun and everything. Oh, God.
Nice.
I was like, he said $70. I was like, done. Absolutely.
That, God, card's in good shape, too.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it
put
is.
that
Yeah.
shit in a case and hang it
Yep.
on the wall.
So I noticed something on here too. I never really caught this, but it has dial tone on the back for a Tiger Force, and I had to look this up. But is that legit? Did they make that?
Uh-uh.
Not
Nope,
in the not in the real American Hero line. I don't think they did.
Nope, Dial Tone did not get a Tiger Force figure until the Toys R Us box set in 2002.
It almost makes you wonder now, like, is one floating around that we don't know about?
Wouldn't surprise me.
That would be a question for the Joe Declassified guys, I think. Or man,
Yeah.
I don't know, Troy McKee, or he might
Yeah.
know. Because they're always on the search for mystery, unproduced stuff and things that were planned and never happened. And oh, I think this is my stash.
Ooh, I want to
Got
see what you
some
got.
stuff here for JD.
I got 3 of them.
What'd you get?
They're the Marauder Cobra Vipers, basically.
Oh,
they were,
yeah. Saw those.
yeah, they
Those
were
look awesome.
JoeFest exclusives. So, there was a limit of 4, so Johnny got one of them, and I took the other 3. So, sweet. God, that's
Nice.
gorgeous.
Yeah, you don't have to paint the red anymore. They did it for us.
Oh my
That's
God,
beautiful.
yes. Oh, that's
Super
gorgeous.
clean.
I would
They
have.
come with,
I don't know that. Yeah, if that had already been out, I don't know if I would have painted mine when I did my custom.
Yeah, I had a couple of them somewhere, but yeah, I was like, man, it's just so much easier now. Just to buy it like that.
Well, and see, I'm not a huge fan of the original Vipers. I mean, they're okay, and I understand why they're iconic. I'm not a huge fan. But
See, I think that's one of the figures that was improved by the Pursuit of Cobra line.
well, so do I, and I've got a few of those. But I didn't like the hands, and I didn't like the feet. They were real janky, and so I'm like, eh. So I ended up sending 1 or 2 to Brian, and I'm like, just use it as fodder.
I customized both of them.
Yeah, because honestly, I love the idea of them, but once I got a bunch of them and I opened them, I'm like, it's really not what I was hoping for. And then I saw the reveal, the pictures, the reveal of the JoeFest exclusive MTF troopers that are fully loaded, and I'm like, oh my God, an MTF Cobra Viper style figure. I'm like, Johnny. Started typing. I'm like, I could use a couple of Vipers if it's not too much trouble.
Yeah, so they gave us all one for just like an exclusive, being at the Marauder Mayhem event. Everyone got one for free when we were there.
Wow.
Yeah, they gave us that. They gave us a ton of stuff, right? Like hat, shirt, pen, notebooks, pocket knife. We got a pocket knife, a Marauder pocket knife. It was crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, so they gave us the Viper after they released it, and then they released
Oh yeah, the
like,
kind of
people-
like bat colored ones.
yeah. So this was the one I was like super excited about because yellow sucks. I hate painting
Right.
yellow. But
Oh yeah,
man,
look at
it's
that.
super clean.
Yeah, it is. Nice.
So I snagged a few of these for myself. But they gave us all one of these for free too. They're like, hey,
Sweet.
here you go.
Yeah, no, I like that Viper. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm not a troop builder, but when I find a trooper I like to get like a trio, maybe a quartet, but usually a trio of them. So
No, you just need 2 and send one to me.
Snag this. This is for JD.
My yeah, that body is gonna become my Coulson custom.
So something
Because that's
that,
the only one you're gonna get, buddy.
Yeah, shut up, Dick. I still might steal yours.
something that I hadn't heard this until the event, until Saturday on JoeFest when I went down to the floor. They had these vests. on one of their guys. Oh, hold on.
Huh.
And he mentioned something. I didn't put this together. These are
Oh,
zombie
cool.
lab vests.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh,
boss fight, they tooled everything, right?
Yeah.
And so they are working with boss fight, and they did a little. They released like 10 of the weapons from Zombie Lab that they're
Nice.
allowed to sell.
so Marauder made a deal with Boss Fight to use some of their parts.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. See, I
So, like,
love
the
that
ball
kind of
bat.
harmony.
Right.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, look
I
at
don't know
that.
how well these are showing up, but
Oh
They're
yeah,
showing
no,
up
I
pretty
can see
good.
it. Golf club, I can see it.
yeah, they got the sledgehammer,
Sledgehammer, nice.
golf club right now.
Nice.
The wrench, but yeah, they had the whole. You
Sweet.
could buy the whole like pack for $10,
Nice.
and there's probably
Jeez.
like I don't even know how many accessories in here, like 20.
Huh. I
Too
love
cool.
the Marauder made
Yeah,
a.
you need those golf clubs, JD, and make another Rip It custom.
Oh yeah, because that'll be the 5th Rip It custom I made, not counting
Nice.
counting
Nice
the classified one that I'm working on right now.
But yeah, I thought it was cool they did the vest too, because they didn't. I don't remember him saying it at the event, but when I went down there, he had a contract off guy with a vest on. I was like, what's that? He's like, oh yeah, we're doing the vest too.
Sweet. I'm trying to. I PM'd Marauder John to see if we could get him on the show, but he hasn't responded yet. So
He was a little busy with JoeFest.
yeah, I think so. I didn't expect to hear back from him right away. I'm kind of hoping once he gets the Kickstarter going that we'll be able to get him on at least for a few minutes.
So I got this for me. JD should
Nice.
appreciate this.
Nice.
Nice.
Never had this guy as a kid. And I saw
I
him there, I
did.
was like,
I loved
yeah.
it. I loved that figure when I was a kid.
Which one is that?
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Okay. I'm bad up on my Eco Warriors. I don't even try. It's like any Eco Warriors thing, like pack to JD. He'll answer that question.
His file name is Price, David Price. But anyways, or Daniel Price, excuse me. Yeah, and then because the club.
Hold on, let me check that one off this list here. I was going to ask you later.
Oh yeah, we got to. As you know, one of the things we do on the show is we try and stump JD with file names or birthplaces. And
I'm not a master of the birthplaces, and there are file names that I don't know, but there's a ridiculous number that I do know.
How do you know that one? I was like, I'm going to stump him with this one for sure.
No, I texted him at like midnight last week, and with like a give me the birthplace of Beachhead.
I'm like Alabama.
Yeah.
Texted him back. I'm like Alabama.
Yep, and like because I was doing the file card for the back of my Beachhead card, and I'm like I looked at the time like JD's up. He's probably talking to Tanya, so I texted him.
I had just gotten off the phone with her.
Yeah, so I'm like, give me the birthplace of Beachhead, and Emily's like, my wife's like, don't text this late. It's like midnight there. I'm like, hang on. And like 2 minutes later, Alabama. I'm like, see? She's like, she just rolled her eyes and shook her head.
I had just gotten off the phone with Tanya when I saw that. So yeah, I'm a nerd. So
it sounds like you
impressive,
had a
man.
great time then, Johnny.
Yeah, it was cool. So they did new paint jobs on some of the older ones.
Nice.
So that's the Crimea one, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
good luck
they
ever
redid the
trying to
camo.
order that off the website. That's going to
Yeah,
be sold
that
out from
definitely
now
is.
until 2025.
They redid I forget, is this the Spec Ops one, I think, right?
Yes.
So it used to have like the bigger. We're getting a little thunderstorm. You might be hearing some of it. But,
yeah, no worries. We had it here earlier. Two of my dogs are scared of thunder, so.
All right, so
You hear
that
my
looks a
kids,
little
right?
bit like the Marine digital camo that they're
Yeah, it's
using.
pretty close to the MPAT.
Yeah, so
Sweet.
they toned down like the orangish. It was supposed to be brown, right? But they toned it down because it looked like it was orange in the past. And it's kind of smaller now too, so came out really good. They redid the Recon one. This one's crazy too. I don't know how they did it, but
Ooh.
Dude, that is wicked looking. Huh.
Yeah, I almost want some of those just to even not paint.
Shit.
Yeah,
I want
right?
one too. Yeah, I
So
want
he
one
said they're
too.
going to release all of these with cloth legs coming up. They only have a certain amount with the armored legs, and then they're not going to release them again. They're just going to stick to the cloth legs.
That works for me. I like the cloth legs better.
I do too. But yeah, he said so. Like if anyone's looking, right, they're going to do armored first, and then they'll get to the cloth ones. But this one, you know, they revealed with the red camo.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that looks cool. And
You know, when you first held that up, I thought you were making a custom of a rock viper. Then I realized what it is.
Yeah, they crushed it. They crushed it this year with the stuff they put out.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I thought you were making a custom Python rock viper. Then I realized it was an MTF figure you were holding up.
So that was all Friday night. That was the first night. I didn't even get to the.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I was like, man, what a way to start this.
Yeah,
And,
no kidding,
so,
huh?
Like I said, I'd never even been to one of these, and I didn't really know anyone. I walked in. I knew a couple guys were going to be there, and I walked into they did like the gala event on Friday night. You could go in and just kind of see what was already up, and I was just like overwhelmed immediately. Like, holy cow, there's just so much stuff. And I just did like a quick walkthrough, kind of checked out some stuff, and then I saw Ron Rudat, right? I'd like never been starstruck in my life.
I was gonna say, did you talk to him?
He was sketching. I got so nervous, I just walked off. So, but
I
he was
may have done the
sketching.
same
He was
thing.
like sketching. He was by himself too, so I had a great opportunity just to walk up. And it just like I saw him, it hit me, and I was like, ah. And I just kept walking. Like I hope he doesn't see me.
I don't blame you.
I did that at my first convention too, and then I got over it pretty quick because some of the people,
Yeah.
you know, like Clark Gregg.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go down that road again, are we?
Yeah, we are.
But it was
Now
cool,
you put
man.
me off
like,
my train of thought. The green-eyed monster of jealousy. Bastard.
Yeah, we gotta go next year, man.
Yeah, let's plan on it next year. It was just this year, honestly, just came up so fast. It's like this whole summer came up fast.
I couldn't have gone since I demobbed. I got an
but-
interview right on Thursday though, so.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Good. Good. You're making progress on that. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to go.
Yeah, dude, it was a blast. Like, yeah, I would recommend, like, if anyone's never gone and they're kind of like on the fence about it, just go. Like, it was the friendliest atmosphere I've ever been in. Like, I don't really know any Joe collectors around here, so we move a lot. We're military, right? So we're always moving, and it's hard to like find people that are Joe collectors. But man, it was awesome just like walking in. Everyone, you know, loves the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone was super friendly. I got to meet you know, Matt Slaymaker.
Nice.
I got to finally like meet who he is and talk to him. A buddy of mine, Chris Scott, he was there. We kind of linked up and we're showing off customs to each other like the whole trip. It was cool, man. I got to meet the Mr. Raging Spoon was there. He had a booth up.
I saw his display. He had a couple of he had a laser viper and geez, what else? He had
Astro Viper. I saw your comment on that.
Yes.
So I picked up something from his booth actually.
Oh, did you?
I haven't done too many 6-inch ones.
Saw Viper? Nice.
Saw Viper, right? So I'd seen someone else do this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off or not.
Hey, if not, send it to me. I'll do it. Haha. Joke. Oh, sweet. All right. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's going sweet.
Lay some paint down on that, see how it turns out. I got to figure out what to do with the star, how to take that down.
Sculpt over or sand it down was my guess.
Yeah. But yeah, he had a bunch of awesome stuff at the booth.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. It looks fantastic. He had some fantastic stuff up.
I chatted him up for a little bit. He had the complexes up too.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, they look awesome in person. I was like, dude, these are incredible.
Nice. Yeah, I just don't have the, I don't have the room for the Dio stuff.
I love it, but I don't have any patience for it at all. I mean, I can come up with the patience for painting and customizing, but when it comes to like the diorama work and stuff, no.
I suck at it.
Patience.
I've tried to make large scale diodes before, and it just
I somehow have less patience for diorama work than I do for vehicles, and that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot.
So
So
yeah, cool to see, but
I made my first dio for the
yes,
event.
you did. I got to see a picture of it. And
I did too.
Prize.
We will drop that picture in the. Actually, by now, they will have seen that picture because I'm going to use it for our opening picture.
I've got that picture.
Awesome. Yeah, I sent you both a picture of it.
That'll be
my buddy Chris.
That'll be one of the intros for the show. So it probably won't be
awesome,
but it'll be close.
Yeah, Chris was like, "Hey, they're doing the contest this year," and he was like, "You should definitely put something in." And I was like, "All right." And I was kind of like, "Hey, what happens? Do you just like drop it off and walk away, or does like somebody watch it?" He's like, "Yeah, it's kind of like you just leave it there and hope it's there when you get back." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that." So, because at the time, all I had done was I had a Tiger Force Outback that I did, right? And
beautiful.
I was like, I put a lot of work into them, and I was worried that I was like, you know what? I will build a dio. And I've never done one, so I built a dio with it. I just watched like some tutorials, bought some of that like foam board, right, and then just chopped it up, tried to make something. I don't really know if it turned out well or not, but
no, very well done, dude. You won second place for it.
Yeah, so really? and then the display was like so bare that well, I bought like a football helmet case to put it in, right? Because I didn't want anything to get.
Oh, is that what that was? I wondered what it was.
Ah, that's a good idea.
So I was
maybe
like,
you had it in a fish tank or something.
And well, I was like, well, now it looks empty because it's just one guy. So then I had to make a Python Patrol Copperhead to put in there.
Yeah, well, I applaud that effort too.
Yeah, thanks. I walked away with second. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's awesome.
So I got him right here.
Especially for having never done that before, dude. I love that.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah, you made the club's version of that figure is so jealous.
No
thanks, man.
Yeah, awesome. Badass. That is awesome.
So I actually did this guy before I practiced any airbrushing. So this is all hand painted.
Nice.
But again, that's that amaranth red, right? It looks orange.
Yeah, that is so not red.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go hunt me down a tube of that.
And then we did the copperhead, right? So now this one I did airbrush because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do that yellow.
Right.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Did you mask that off?
Yeah, so I based it all out in yellow, and then I put some tape on it, sprayed it again with the green, and then peeled the tape off. And I messed it up the first time, so I had to redo it. But yeah, so it's you can probably tell it's a Marauder torso.
Oh yeah.
Boss fight arms, boss fight head underneath. It's a 25th head and 25th legs, but the head I dremeled out.
Oh, the head actually. Oh, the helmet actually comes. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it to come off. Might have to heat it up. But
yeah, say don't break it. Please don't break your custom.
Nothing sucks worse than breaking something you put a lot of time into. Oh,
that's awesome, dude. That is awesome.
Guys. Yeah, I was working on a original, copperhead, and I thought, well, I can't just make like a regular copperhead and put it in there with a Tiger Force figure. I was like, that'll look weird. So let's at least do like a sub team of something. So I remember having that one as a kid. I always liked them, and I figured I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Python Copperhead was the first Copperhead I had when I was a kid because I never had the original. I only remembered it. I knew what he was, but I mostly remembered him from the cartoon. But
yeah, I remember from the comic book. He was in one of the first comic books I got.
So, did you? All right. So overall, good first experience with a convention then.
Dude, it was awesome. Super awesome.
because-
I want to do it again every year.
Well, we're definitely going to try and be there next year for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if you ever want to bring a custom, it's safe and secure. So
Okay.
it was super. They had it all legit, by the way. Like they had a table set up by the entrance. It was roped off too, so like nobody could just walk over there and take it. Like there was people with it.
I can understand why you were dubious about it at first, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I might bring a couple of my carded customs.
yeah, do it. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, bring Colson.
There was some good stuff out there too. I mean, there was a lot of good things. They put someone did like a Toy Story diorama.
Nice.
And they had like they made Woody and they made Buzz and they had like a bunch of other like vintage guys all scattered all over the place, and they did them. It was really cool looking. And then someone did a Python Patrol Cobra Trooper, but like in the black and red classified style, and it was really good looking too.
Nice.
And then the guy who ended up winning, I don't know how he did it, but he took a vehicle and made it look like it had rusted. But it's a plastic vehicle, right? I was like, I don't know how you do something like that. It was super impressive to look at.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's one of the reasons I want to go is just to see some of the customs and get ideas.
Yeah, it was cool. I definitely want to go again next year and do it.
Excellent.
But, yeah.
Definitely going to try and go next year. Definitely going to try and go. Because we said
There
we
were
were
so
gonna
many
do it
vendors.
last year, but yeah, due to COVID, we're like, no, I don't think so. So JD came out. We had our own little mini convention instead.
Oh, I remember you guys did you were like painting together in your office there.
Yep.
I was one of those guys watching, and JD was like, "Who's watching this? This guy."
I'm like,
This
who's
guy was
actually got
watching.
that much time on their hands?
Yeah, I figured nobody would tune into that. But a bunch of people did. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, Brian's like, dude, there's 16 people watching. I'm like, wow, those 16 people need something more to do with their time.
I wanted to go to JoeFest. I couldn't, so I had to live it through y'all.
Well, we couldn't go either, but then turns out that really worked out well for me. So
yeah, JD, I hooked JD up with one of my best friends, and
been happy ever since. In fact, I'm flying to Austin tomorrow to visit for her birthday. So
Nice.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right, give her a hug for me.
Will do. Yeah, her birthday's Tuesday, so I'm going down tomorrow. So
awesome.
cool.
How long of a flight is that?
I got a layover in Chicago. I don't know. It's like the first flight is like an hour and a half, and then the second flight is like 2.5 hours or something. So not bad. Then I'll be back. Be back on July 3rd. And hopefully I'll be able to talk my son into watching fireworks July 4th. Last year he was like, no. Well, even though COVID had canceled them, there were people in the neighborhood setting them off, and he was like, no. And then the year before that, I'm like, can we watch fireworks? No. He is he's 8, and honestly, holidays could come and go, and he wouldn't give a crap. So but yeah, I love fireworks. So yeah, I'll be back in time for the 4th, but even if I wanted to fly out of Austin on the 4th, yeah, guess what? There were no flights.
Yeah,
yeah, that's not at all surprising. So, but
yeah, I'm glad I'm not traveling anymore.
But yeah, so all right, Johnny, if you want to do some trivia.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So I wanted to do the file card name. Let's see if you can say their real name.
And don't be surprised if it trips me up, because there's plenty of times I trip myself up with it. But
you already knocked off the one I was like, oh, this is gonna stump him. So I had clean sweep on here. You've already crushed that for me. So let's see. I put Outback, right? I did an Outback custom.
Stuart Selkirk.
His name.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you know his middle initial? Let's see.
No,
R.
I was gonna say L, so good thing I didn't.
Still, you got it. All right. Deep Six.
Malcolm Willoughby.
How the hell? All right. Recondo.
Daniel Leclerc.
All right, here's the last one I got. Big Ben.
David Brenner.
Almost. Bennett.
See, I do get tripped up occasionally. I thought for sure you were going to ask for Skidmark, just in case it's Cyril Columbani. But
bonus quick, it goes to JD.
All right, yeah. See, I get tripped up sometimes.
I thought his first name was going to be Ben. I looked it up. I was like, I learned something today.
Yeah, it would have been amusing, but for operational security, of course, that goes out the window when you realize that Alpine's file name is Albert Pine.
Yeah, so, that one's still fine.
Yeah.
So since we got you on the show, we asked, the customizers all of the usual interview customizing questions, like what got you into customizing?
Oh yeah, so I was a big fan of customizing, just looking at people's work over the years, from at least 10 years ago. And I started to get on HISSTank, and I would hit some of them up and be like, hey, would you commission some work for me, right? So some of the early guys that really I admired was I always forget how to say his name. Is it Strunks?
Yes, Strunks.
Yeah, so his stuff, even way back in the day, it was just like, holy cow, man, your shit is amazing.
Yes.
So he commissioned a few pieces for me. I picked up some stuff on eBay back before it was like $600 to get a figure, right? Because his stuff goes for insane prices now.
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me either.
And then a guy that you are supposed to have on your show pretty soon, Richard Whipple.
Yes.
Back then I knew him as Ratfink.
Ratfink, yeah.
So he did some work for me.
Next month.
I actually have the figures that he did for me. This was probably I don't even know, 10 years ago? 10 years ago or so, at least. I still have his figures that he did for me.
Nice.
And they still hold up. His work is.
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
It's great, man. And I have a bunch of the strong stuff too. I keep them all displayed. I use them as inspiration, just looking at stuff.
Yeah,
nice. Thinking man, how the hell can I do that? But this is his Dreadnought mechanic. I think he called him Ratchet.
Nice.
Yeah, so he did those for me, and then I bought a few more from other customizers, and then I thought, man, this shit's expensive. I need to learn how to do it. And so really Marauders, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm an advertisement for Marauders, but their stuff came out.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with advertising quality products like that.
I mean, I just felt I don't feel bad putting paint on a figure that I only paid $12 for, as opposed to hunting down a Hasbro figure and trying it. So I just got a hold of a bunch of Marauder stuff and then started slapping paint on them. And I think that was probably 4 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it just, I started doing it, and then super nervous to put my first custom out on social media or anything. And I was like, I'll throw it up on HISSTank. I'd been on there for years, and I got a bunch of good feedback, and luckily there was a guy on there. He's kind of dropped off, and I haven't heard anything from him in a while, but he went by RV88, and he did some really solid work way back in the day. And he mentored me for free, right? He would just help me with some tips, hey, try this, try that, try these paints, try these brushes.
Hey, some people like to share their knowledge.
That's what I.
It was awesome. Yeah. So, and that's what I appreciate about Brian, right? Is you have this site here, and you throw stuff up there for free, and I always took that the way that he helped me and didn't charge me for anything, never asked for anything. I took that as kind of a foundational thing, was if you ever see like the work I post, I usually put like a photo with some work in progress pictures, and there's always like a picture with like the paints and all that, right?
Yeah.
So it's twofold. One, it's because I have a really terrible memory. So when I go back, I like to see what I used.
Yep.
But two, it's really so like if anyone is ever like, oh, I want to try it, and like, what do you use? Right there you go. Like there's some of the stuff you could do with it, and this is how you do it. Because I remember trying to get started. I mean, like I said, 10 years ago, I was buying customs, but it was hard to get any kind of information on how to do it.
Yeah. When I first
So
started, it was the same thing. People were very, very guarded about their techniques. It's like you try and ask how you do this, and they're like, sorry, it's trade secret. And,
yeah,
Adam Savage was one of the guys from Mythbusters. You might know he put out a post a couple years ago. It's probably on my customizing page that said your secrets aren't yours. They don't belong to anybody. Share that stuff, share the knowledge. And I 100% agree with him on that.
Me too.
yeah. I mean, like, it's been like the most helpful thing. And then so like I did a couple customs, really to see like what could I do, and I ended up finding that it was like very therapeutic, like to just sit down, quiet, like just sit and paint. It was super chill. And I just like got like a want and desire to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I've never sold any work. I've never, people ask me for commissions every now and then, but I like doing it just because like I want the figure, right? I want this character, I want that character. And then like I like to challenge myself sometimes, like, oh, let's learn how to shade like this. Let's do some dry brushing. Let's do some washes, which I'm terrible at. I washes still. I'm like afraid of it. But
I've been doing that for years, and I'm still terrible at it.
Washes are like my favorite thing now.
I know. And
you
showed me how
washes.
you've demonstrated, you've walked me through it before, and I'm still terrible at it. So
Me too,
dry
man.
brushing drives me
videos.
absolutely crazy. And washes, it doesn't drive me crazy, except the fact that my results are meh at best. But dry brushing, last year, he gave me an in-person demonstration. I'm like, that's awesome. I hate doing that shit. So,
because let me stop me if you've heard this before. He doesn't have the patience for it.
I do have the patience for it.
Hello.
Mostly.
Oh, you're all wet. Go away.
I was gonna say, which dog? Oh, there's Alice.
We got her a little baby pool.
Oh, she was in the pool again. She barked. She's funny. The dog scampers. It's a little kiddie pool, and she runs through and she barks at the water as she's splashing it. And his other two dogs just see her in the pool and they just get way away from it. Like, no way. Because last year I was outside and watching the dog in the pool, and the other two dogs accidentally got splashed because they got a little too close, and they were rather angry at Pool Puppy. So,
but now she came down to get her. She had a toy down here that she just remembered was down here. And normally she'd get up in my lap, and no, not getting drowned right in my lap. All right, so what got you into GI Joe then?
That was my question. That was what I wanted to know next.
So, I mean, I was a military brat. My parents were both in the military. Yeah, I know JV, you were too, right?
Yeah, so, my dad was
still
in
a military
Army,
brat.
So.
He's just now he's just a brat.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I can remember having GI Joes before my first memory. Like I just always remember having GI Joes. I don't even remember like when it ever happened, but I've always just had a bunch of GI Joe figures, and then as my parents were military, I just thought like, oh, this is what they do, right? So like, it's cool, and I just always collected them, never stopped, and like I said, we travel in the military. You travel a lot, right? So that becomes like your friend when you travel, and you're looking for new friends. So you just like, what do you do with your time, right? Play with GI Joes.
Yep.
So that was my thing. I just played with GI Joes, and I never stopped. And then like vintage kind of died down around what, like 92, 93.
94, the vintage line went away altogether.
And then the modern stuff came out in 2007, and I had never even heard of it. Never heard like any advertisement for it. Walked into a Target, and I saw a stalker, yellow stalker,
Oh
which
shit!
I bought and opened.
I would have too.
That's
Dude,
like
I
Couldn't
would
be
have done
better.
that too. If I got a yellow stalker tomorrow, I'd still open that shit.
yeah, it's
up.
like that's the
Um,
like, one 25th anniversary figure I don't have. I have the Black Wolf
Yeah.
Snake Eyes. I have a bunch of like rare
Yeah.
stuff. I have that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never
so
saw
I
yellow
just,
stalker, but if I had one, dude, I would have opened that years ago. I don't know.
but yeah, they were cool. Like the modern stuff they released was cool, and I got back into it, and then it just blew up.
So your parents are both military. What branch? What's or what were their jobs?
So they were both Air Force, both finance. So as a kid, I thought they were like doing GI Joe missions. I didn't,
Hey, they were. Look, Alpine's secondary military specialty is accounting.
Okay.
So is Jinx's, for that
True.
matter.
That's true.
So
True.
they're still people of action. They just they
Different
probably
action.
don't. They're probably not at the top of the deployment list, but it happens. So
You'd be surprised to how those you'd see a lot of those guys in Afghanistan.
I was gonna say, when I was in, I knew one of the JAG guys. I mean, they're lawyers, but he had airborne and air assault wings on his uniform. So he'd been
Especially
to
if you're
Fort
reserve.
Campbell, Kentucky, and to
Reserve in that
Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So different. So both Air Force, both
Yeah.
fine. That's cool.
So
Yeah.
JD's next question is going to be, who is your favorite GI Joe character? Am I wrong?
Recondo.
No, you're not. Oh, good, Recondo. Okay, just don't say
It's
triple
Recondo.
air. Um,
Recondo. That's a good choice. I like that.
yeah.
I didn't have him as a kid, but I just always thought he was an awesome looking character. And I remember friends having him, like the older kids, because I guess I'm like the younger side for like GI Joe fans. So, like I remember like the late '80s. Those were like the Joes that I had the most of, right? And then every now and then I would get a few from like the like '83, '84 line, and it was like that was like your grail at that time. Like, oh, how'd you get that? And I remember kids had Recondo, and I was just being like, that guy is so cool. Like, I want that figure. And it took me years and years to get him, and then I finally got one. But I don't
The
know. He just has
only
such a cool
Recondo
design.
I had when I was a kid was the Tiger Force version. I never had the first version.
I had the
I had friends who did, but I never had him for whatever reason. But I got the Tiger Force version, and it didn't matter. I just used him as regular Recondo.
First 10 GI Joe, I'll bet, was Recondo.
He's a character that I've seen lots of customs of that have done justice to him.
I've tried.
I never really.
I cannot sculpt that goddamn mustache. It's always looks like he's got. It's always too big.
There's someone's got a sculpt out right now. So I haven't. No one's ever seen this.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Ooh, no. Ooh, nice.
See if I can get this hat off.
I did a custom last year that I was happy with, except for the goddamn mustache.
Hey, I still say that mustache turned out just fine.
Nice.
Shit, yeah.
Not sure. Let's see if I can get it.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're getting it.
The 25th anniversary version of Recondo that they included in that Assault on Cobra Island 7-pack, that figure was a mess. That figure was a mess. That head sculpt was a mess. I'm just like, wow, yeah. Hasbro, that's not. I mean, the closest to a successful update I think they ever did to Recondo was the Pursuit of Cobra version, but that was basically just Blaine from Predator. It wasn't even Recondo. So I just, I've seen lots of successful customs, but he's not a character that Hasbro was ever able to capture the same essence of later.
Absolutely. And of course, my next question, JD is the GI Joe guy. I'm the Cobra guy. So who's your favorite Cobra character?
Firefly, all the way.
Nice.
There we go.
Firefly. I mean, like he's just so badass looking. The mask pulled down. I also like that he just kind of does his own thing. He's like, if you want to pay me, I'll do it. Like, I just like that idea. Like, it's a cool concept.
Absolutely.
So Firefly, ninja or no?
No, not in my
There
world.
we go.
I just wondered because, Larry Hama worked him into the Arashikage, and with that whole faceless master thing, I'm just like, wow, that's. Hey, look, there's a shoehorn over there, and that's what he used to get him into the Arashikage.
Shoehorning a lot of KY.
But I don't. But I was fine with Firefly being a ninja, but not the Firefly. I like the idea that another person using the name, possibly an apprentice, possibly a wannabe, was maybe one of the Arashikage ninjas who became disillusioned and wanted to start doing his own mercenary work. He took the name Firefly, but I don't like the idea that the original character, the one that supposedly died in the freighter, how many characters actually died in that freighter? Because most of them escaped.
Yeah,
I swear to God, they were either resurrected or they flat out escaped. That was not a successful plot line. It was when it happened, but the fact that comic book style, most of the deaths didn't stick, really sort of lessened the impact there.
That's the in-game thing, right? Like then they all
yeah,
come
basically.
back.
Well,
right.
Brian, what do you always say? Death is a minor career setback in comic books. So
that's I've said that for
and
decades. That in
the
universe,
I said for years the only comic book characters that stay dead are Bucky Barnes and Jason Todd, and then Bucky Barnes and Jason Todd were both brought back successfully by their respective companies in the comics. I mean, and Jason Todd, I mean, they brought him back as Red Hood, and he's been in a couple of the animated things. Bucky Barnes came back as the Winter Soldier, and holy shit, he's been in so many movies and TVs and even the TV series now. So now, really, Uncle Ben Parker is the only character, the dead character that came back.
The Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, but technically, all right, fine, good point.
Yeah, you cannot argue that if you're gonna go Nick Fury from Ultimate Universe, because I know you love Fury. So
well,
Ben Parker came back in the Ultimate Universe.
Yes. So who is your least favorite, Joe?
Ooh, good question.
And
oh man.
And your least favorite least favorite Joe character and least favorite Joe figure, they do not have to be the same entity.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know that I can.
Yeah. I don't know. What are y'all's? Like, let me hear some ideas here. Maybe a
Tripwire. Tripwire. Always Tripwire. That's always the answer. The absolute worst.
Yeah, that's like a running joke on the show.
Well, okay. I was a fan of Sea Slug when I was a kid, and that sort of the nostalgia of that carries forward to me as an adult, but I don't remember what the appeal was. I just know that there was some appeal. He was a big integral character in the play scenarios that I had. I don't really know what any of it was. I'm pretty sure some of it had some sort of weird influence from Cobra Law because with the name, and I was the target audience, the target age for Cobra Law at the time. Brian doesn't remember that because he's far, far older than I am. And he was graduated high school by the time Cobra Law came out. Oh, another running joke.
I feel bad saying Sea Slug. I just made one, but
don't feel
I don't know,
bad.
like it's just a weird character. I remember like looking at him like what kind of like what was his purpose other than it was a weird uniform choice, like with everyone else in the Cobra line.
Character for that vehicle.
Well, and then if you ever look up what a sea slug actually is, I'm like, that is just weird, and that doesn't even fit the name. But
I would go for Joe's. I would go armadillo.
incidentally, his file name is Philo Makepeace. He was born at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, just in case you were wondering. He was a truly terrible figure that I've seen many a person update, and it's always an improvement, but he's still a fairly terrible figure. He's one of those that it's almost like, well, for one, his file card is pretty good. The figure doesn't match it. And for two, it's almost like he's a character that you need to start at square one and completely redesign to salvage it, because there's nothing from the original. Because he was one of the characters that I offered last year for the custom challenge for Brian, and I thought, I wonder if he'll do that. He was like, I don't know what to do with that. I'm like, I don't blame you. I've never made a custom. I don't know what the hell to do with it.
Topside, honestly, is one of them.
If you want to keep the recognize, if you want to keep,
hate that figure.
Yeah, the figure's terrible. The design's not good. And if you want to keep any recognizable elements to tie it into to be that character, then you shoot yourself in the foot, because you realize all of the design elements are terrible.
I mean, I remember being a kid and like seeing like the figure armadillo, right? And was like, that's not a GI Joe. Like I was sold in my mind that was a knockoff brand. Like that's not a GI Joe.
I think that character would have fit in just fine with the Remco line.
Yeah.
But or with much wonkier proportions, he would have fit in fine with the core, but he did not fit in well with the Vintage Joe line. I mean, not that the Vintage Joe line didn't have a good number of stinkers in it, because honestly, there were some truly terrible figures in there. But he's just one of them that it's like, no, nothing about this works. Nothing.
All right, so give me your favorite vehicle then.
Ooh, so I actually was looking for this at JoeFest the whole time. The Cobra Bug. I don't have one.
That is a popular choice. Lots of people name that as their favorite. And I get it. I had one when I was a kid. I used the shit out of that thing.
I never had one. I remember a kid in first grade, right, who brought it to school, brought it for show and tell, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh no, it's for like we can't all play with it. And I was just
I don't blame him. It would have broken.
Cool. Yeah, I probably would have broke it too. But I love the idea of it. I've never had one. I just thought they kind of look cool. And then of course, like the fan favorite.
Yeah, I tried to customize it. It didn't turn out, unfortunately. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
No, that's really cool looking. Why you say it didn't turn out?
I tried to get it like update the colors. The paint is flaking on it.
The primer he used was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, so because like visually from on the screen, it looks good.
Yeah, no, it needs some work. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And I've ruined. So that's the second one that I screwed up. I took one and I gutted the interior and scratch built the inside to be like a command center. And then I got it back in the primer and it ruined the whole thing.
How many hours did it take?
Wait, what was wrong with the one you just held up?
The paint job sucks.
Oh, okay. See, that you can fix. It's the primer issue that can't be fixed.
No.
Not without completely stripping all of it off. And some of that, you're not going to get that off.
It does not. I would take me forever to sand it down, and I've tried a lot of the tricks people have suggested, and it's not coming up.
So I was going to ask you, what's your biggest custom disaster? Would you say that's your biggest custom disaster?
Biggest custom disaster. Boy, that's a good question. Yeah, probably that bug. Yeah? I spent a lot of time.
How many hours did you?
I spent a lot of time getting it. I spent a lot of time taking it apart, and spent a lot of time building it. And yeah, the second that primer started to turn into like sand on it, I mean, it was like gritty. I'm like, yeah, that I tried to clean it last year and I couldn't get it done.
Yeah. JD, do you have a horror story? I always like hearing like every customizer's got like a story, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a particularly big one. I've got a problem with broken knee joints where the peg just completely snaps off. And that's not even just vintage stuff. That's modern stuff where the peg, and once that peg is broken, you can't fix it. You can try melting it, you can try fusing it, you can try. It's broken. It's broken and it's not going back together. Many a custom has been wrecked by a broken knee joint because, and then you can, in fact, as a matter of fact, what you can't see in the pictures of my vintage style custom of Create a Cobra that was inspired by Johnny's custom of the Create a Cobra. One of the knees is glued because the peg broke, but that is the only, but I was so far along with it. It was 90% done, but the peg snapped and it didn't break off. It snapped in half. So half the peg was still there. So I had to glue the knee. So it moves a little bit, but it doesn't move all the way. Like but you can't see it in the pictures. But I couldn't take any dial pictures with the knees bent because, it moves just a little bit. But that's because when the super glue, I was able to have but yeah, so it's not completely fused. But usually when the knee has a problem, I'm much earlier into the process. Sometimes just even, you put the parts together just to try it, and you'll hear a snap when you take it apart. It's like, it really?
Yeah.
So, or you have you get an elbow crack with the Real American Hero stuff, and the crack gets worse once you just move it a little bit, because while heating up water or heating the joints up works with modern stuff with the softer plastic, not so much with the vintage stuff. So that elbow crack could get much, much worse. Sometimes it's just easier to leave it alone.
And actually, JD just showed you my other like major failure. That Alley Viper.
Oh yeah. Here I'll get a better look at it.
I absolutely love the build, but I repainted this and repainted it and primed it and repainted it, reprimed it. I mean, to the point where it's losing detail in the sculpt. Done. I'm fucking done.
The table that he's sitting in front of for this, he's got a lineup of figures that are unpainted or they're somehow unfinished because they were all failed attempts, but he keeps them up there in case he wants to cannibalize parts or whatever later. And I was looking at, and I'm like, ooh, that Alley Viper, it's like a War Machine crossed with an Alley Viper. I'm like, that's really cool. What are you doing with that? He's like, it's been there for years. It's not, I'm not going to finish it. And I'm like, why? It's badass. And he's like, look, all the details missing from all the repriming and all the repainting. But so I said, well, you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to finish it.
Oh, that's cool looking.
I don't mind the lost detail because I'm not going to notice it once it's all done. He had it painted. He had started the paint.
Airbrush.
What?
This before I had an airbrush.
Yeah. And he started the paint and he was going with the version 1 Alley Viper look, but I decided to go with the second Battle Core version just because nobody really customizes that very often.
It looks good there.
Well, and then it wasn't until last year after I got home and I finished it, he's like, did the visor move or is it stuck? I'm like, I didn't know the visor was supposed to move. Yeah, it does. It flips up. He's got like a chrome Cobra Commander head under there. So, but yeah, when I was painting it the whole time, I didn't even realize that was supposed to happen. So, I got it. So it works. But, so I finished this and I've been happy with it ever since. It's
I haven't even seen it done, so I didn't even know he finished it.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, I'm happy with the results, and I'm happy that Brian couldn't finish it because I found that one to be fun to finish up.
No, I did this was so bad that I made a second one using the same parts. Fucked that one up. So I ended up painting it dark green and black and calling it a night viper. Since the colors all kind of blend together, you don't really see it, and just calling it a heavy armored night viper, and then just put it on the card so nobody can see it.
I've been there. I've been there where you don't restart with a new one, mess that one up too. Like, yeah.
Oh, in fact, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, there was this weird Cobra Trooper type thing that I had put together last year. During the Rise of Cobra line, I found some clearance deals on a bunch of the Rise of Cobra, like the Neo Vipers or whatever, with the armor, and I had like 6 of them, and I customized all of them into weird different configurations. And I was gonna make like a specialized unit, so like one guy had a mohawk, one guy had like a monster hand, or they were all different. They were all different ideas. They were all like
sitting right here, actually.
Yeah, but I sent it to him and he finished it because whatever I had done with it was trash. And I sent it to him and he refinished it and turned it into a
Mega monster.
Yeah, but
Oh
he
yeah,
used
I saw when you posted that. This is awesome looking.
Yeah, I don't have a
fucking thank you airbrush.
Yeah, well, because I'd been going through stuff in the basement and I found that failed custom and I said, I don't even know what this was, but I sent him a picture. I'm like, I have no idea what this was supposed to be. And I said, I want to salvage it. What do you think? He's like, send it to me, I'll finish it. I'm like, all right. So I did. I'm like, I don't even know what it was supposed to be. I mean, I remember the initial idea was that weird unit of like misfit Cobra Troopers that all got crap armor, and they tweaked it to look, but I don't know what the point of it was. I remember the inception, but not what the idea. There was nothing concrete, and looking over all of them, they all look, well, terrible. That was the best of the ones that. So I didn't tell you how awful the rest of them were.
So that's a good question. So what is your nightmare story there?
So I got a couple, but I mean, like, I remember the first real disaster, and I learned a lesson was, so I was dremeling a bunch, had a bunch of shavings on the floor, had really like just kind of like left it. It was like, oh, whatever, I'll get to it one day. Dropped something I freshly painted, and it was just fucked up. Like, there's no salvaging it. I was just like, nah. That would, I know I keep my floor like super clean, and I'm always like making sure like the space is good after I Dremel. But that one taught me a pretty good lesson. But I was doing a Cobra Viper with a Marauder buck, and using the chrome pins, and it blew up. Like the pen just blew up all over the chest, all over my hand. I couldn't get it to stop bleeding out of the lid, so I'm like trying to find where to put it, and it's just like leaking everywhere. The first and only time I've ever used one. I need to get another one to try it again because it does have good results. I had done a couple before that.
I can't get it to. I've got one. I tried it, and I can't get the paint to light thin. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I'm trying to think.
I had one of those chrome paint. I tried it on a few figures. It doesn't. I haven't had any luck with it. Like, it doesn't maintain the back metallized look. It's just weird. It's tacky sometimes, and I'm not a fan.
I don't even know where it is. I know I have.
Yeah, I love the idea. I was unsuccessful with the results.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I did it on his goggles, and I thought they came out all right.
Yeah, no, I think it did.
Didn't really, like, thicken up too much.
Is that Wild Weasel? Who's that?
This is kind of like, I call this my HISSTank driver.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
A few people have done similar builds, but
no, I like it.
There's not much to it. Really, that's the only thing to it, right? Like, everything else is just all stock from Marauders, and then just that on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't find. I know I did like a whole Viper head like that, but
what do you think your best? Maybe not your best custom, but what's your favorite custom that you've done?
Oh, so I have a Nemesis. Depends if what you're calling him now, if he's immortal or enforcer.
He will forever be Nemesis Enforcer for me. I don't. Nemesis Immortal was a nice place, was a copyright thing, but no, he is Nemesis Enforcer, and that's holy crap. Look at that.
So this isn't a. I think I could do it way better now. This is like really early when I was doing stuff, and I really didn't know what I was doing, and it was the first time I'd ever really tried sculpting stuff. I didn't sculpt the arm pieces, but I did the knees and the cowl.
Dude,
So
that
this is
so
actually
cool.
this is a frost giant from the Thor line.
Oh man.
No way, really? I would have never guessed.
Nor would
Yeah,
I
even the
suck at
face is a frost giant.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I can see with the because they had that weird bone armor on their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I added
yeah.
more sculpt to the face, and then I don't know, like it was for me, and it was the first time I also tried to wash. It's super dark on here, so I would definitely do some things different. But I thought at that time it was like one of those moments where I turned a corner and was like, wow, like
Right.
I could do like something good with this. I could be
That's
good at
super
this if I
cool.
keep trying. So I don't know. I always look at that one and just think like that was a good moment for me. I remember when I made that one, I was just super happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
sculpting is definitely one of the skills that I don't sculpt unless I have to, man, because I am not good at it.
Yeah, I need to work on it a lot more, but it's fun when I do it. It's just I got to figure out like it's like a timing thing. It seems like, right? Like you got to let it dry for a little bit before you
Yeah.
mess with it. But I'm just like just want to get in there. Like I feel like I don't have the patience to do the sculpting because I just want to.
I do. I like sculpting. The sideburns and the mustache I sculpted. The wig is actually from one of the Shang-Chi figures. It came off, so I glued it onto a. Well, it was a wrestling head of a wrestler named Ryback. So he's bald, but I basically dremeled the head down to give it room for the wig, and then I sculpted the sideburns and the mustache. I was using it for another character, for a different character, and I was looking at it the one day. I'm like, I know what I was using it for, but I keep seeing Rumbler, the Crossfire driver, and I sent the picture to Brian. I'm like, is it really whoever I was going to use it for? And I said, or is it Rumbler? He's like, yeah, that's Rumbler. I'm like, yes, it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to find another solution. For your, Rip it. Yeah, my classified style, rip it. Because as the president and only member of the Rip It fan club, I've done this. My classified version will be my fifth Rip It custom. The first was a Real American Hero. It was I customized him a little bit to individualize him a little bit more than just the color scheme. Then there was one that I did for a Joe Customs challenge. Then there was one that I did Brian
go-kart one.
Emily, what?
That go-kart one?
Yeah, and
go-kart was killer.
I hated that thing so much. I hated the go-kart itself, the figure. I'm like, ugh.
Amazing.
Oh, fine. You know what? You're gonna make me go get it, aren't you?
I want to see this thing. Yeah, get it.
All right, I'll be right back.
No, I did that and like JD made that. Holy fuck.
Dude, those sculpting skills that he just did on that face was incredible.
Oh yeah, no, he's a better sculptor than I am. I like I said, I don't sculpt unless I have to. And
I feel the same.
But yeah, I don't sculpt unless I have to because I'm not good at it. And JD talks about not having patience, and yeah, it's like painting is my favorite thing to do. So I was like, I want this sculpting to be dry so I can primer it, so I can paint it. And it's like, I gotta wait 3 hours. And if you put it under heat, it's supposed to quicker.
This thing is all dusty. Dusty as all get out. All right, Joe Customs. 3 years ago, they had a custom project for go-karts, G.I. Joe go-karts. And I was like, well, my friend Doug or Doremo, he told me, he said, you doing that? I said, yeah. He's like, well, what are you going to do for it? I'm like, I said, there's only one thing for it. He's like, rip it. I'm like, um, and I'm like, see, my friends do know me. And since I had just gotten a Cobra Asp, like a beater version, I'm like, well, I'll just use the body of it for the go-kart.
Oh, that's cool looking, man.
Isn't that? That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's Rip It. He's got a Decepticon Cobra Fusion logo. And I just cobbled the engine together from I don't even know how many different things. The wheels are off of, well, actually, those are the original wheels off the Asp. And then these are off some Leonard or some knockoff toy line. The battering ram and a piece of armor from a Star Wars figure. And then this is off the top of a golf cart that it was a golf cart alarm clock that I bought to get the golf clubs that went with it for a previous Rip It custom. And I built the wheel wells using where the wheels plugged into the body. I used sheet styrene. That was the first and last time I ever tried sheet styrene. This is one of the only vehicle customs I ever finished. And I said afterwards, I'm like, never again. Never again. I
And you
loathe
try to get him to do
this thing. I loathe
It's so
it.
good though. It's so good.
But yeah, I submitted it to
shit that came out fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's goofy.
That's the whole point.
I love it.
That's what makes it amazing.
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, because I looked at all the other submissions that were done through the Joe Custom for the project. I'm like, yeah, I could have done better.
I looked at the submissions too. I'm not on Joe Custom anymore. Well, I guess I sort of am, but I don't frequent the forums. But I looked at all the submissions. Like, no, JD's right up there at the top.
So
yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's dusty because it's been sitting on the shelf in the back since I put it up there years ago. And dusting, that's not a thing. It should be a thing, but it's not a thing. But yeah, that was I mean, I guess it turned out okay. I'm looking at it and I'm like, maybe it's not quite as horrible as I remembered, but
I just told me he was going to eat an asp, and I just imagined this like horrible like amalgamation of crap, and then he showed it to me like, holy fuck, that came out awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's legit. That looks like something that you would see released in the line. Like,
yeah,
it's cool.
It held its own against everybody else's totally.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's one of those projects that I look at and I'm like, I know what the idea was, and I know what the idea looked like in my head, and it wasn't that. I don't know what it was specifically, because I don't know how I could have gotten closer to the idea that I had in my head, but I'm sitting there one day, I'm got the shears, and I'm sniffing the sheet styrene, and I'm gluing this shit together, and thank God I had super glue accelerator, because that shit would have never happened without the accelerator. Yeah, so that was, I think, the third or fourth version of Rip It that I'd done. Now I'm doing the Class 5 version. So, I know what it was. The second version I ever did, the second version I ever did was a Sigma 6 version.
And I sculpted a backpack or a golf bag for one of those.
Yeah, the third version of Rip It was a 25th style Rip It without the helmet and all, and I made golf clubs out of Jedi lightsabers, and
Nice.
then I was like, I need a golf bag for him. I'm like, I can't do this. Brian's like, I'll do it, and then he came out for a visit. Him and Emily flew up here to visit, and he brought me the golf bag, and I painted it. I'm like, oh yes, because as the only member of the Rip It fan club. I love his file card. The fact that Hasbro Hasbro obviously just threw this character together. I don't know why it wasn't just a damn Hiss driver, but I'm glad that it wasn't. They clearly did not care about this character any more than the fandom did. But he struck me. I love this idea that this tank driver had no precision, so Cobra made him take golfing lessons. And I don't know how it really ties into the tank job, but I'm like, I don't care. He's like a NASCAR driver in a tank that has a golf hobby. It works for me. It's terrible.
The fact that JD's favorite character is Rip It is where I got the theory that every character in the line is somebody's favorite.
Not my favorite. He's on my list of favorites. He is my favorite character that literally nobody else gives a shit about.
And I'm saying that everybody that nobody else gives a shit about is somebody else's favorite.
Yep, every character, other character that I think.
I posted my work in progress picture of Topside, and I had like 5 people tell me that was their like first figure or their favorite figure. And it's like, I can't friggin' stand it. I hated the file card, I hated everything about it. There's a bunch of people who are like, oh, I can't wait to see it because that's like my favorite character. I'm like, that just
Brian texted me last week. He's like, dude, Topside's got the stupidest file card. I'm like, what? You mean the scrambled eggs thing? He's like, no, all of it. I'm like, and he's like, Hogtie, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I'm amused by that character because the file card is so dumb that I can't help but be amused by it. But yeah.
While he's going for that, I'm going to ask you, what custom have you not done yet that you really want to do?
Here, classified Rip It with the Dale Earnhardt style. I sculpted the mustache on a Daredevil head, and sculpted the mutton chops.
Yeah, so. No, I sent him that head. I'm like, this will be a perfect head for Rip It.
Yeah, and he was right.
Like aviator style glasses.
So, yep, classified Rip It, 5th version of Rip It I made. But I don't have pictures of any of my Sigma 6 customs because the boards that they were posted at are all long gone. So I wish I did, but
yeah, all
my Sigma 6 version was my Sigma 6 version was way more simplistic than this. But yeah,
what is your like unfulfilled custom project?
I was gonna say, who's on your list? I was gonna ask who are you looking to customize?
Every customizer has like a huge box full of like guys they're trying to do, right?
Yes.
So let's see. I've got 3 to-do boxes here.
Oh man.
Wow.
I will tell you. So let's see. I've got Metalhead in here.
I actually have my Metalhead custom right here.
You still don't have a bubble for it.
I do. I just don't have a card made yet.
Copperhead.
Get to this guy.
New Copperhead, or I mean, classic Copperhead.
Yeah. Let's see what else I have in here. I've got the battle talking hawk. I want to do that, so I've got a build set up for him.
Yes.
I've got a Tiger Force.
Oh, Sky Striker.
Yeah, Sky Striker. I want to try and knock one of those out.
Nice.
Before I had an airbrush where I put the build together, but I don't know. Probably hit that one next.
Sky Striker's file name is Alexander Russo, in case you wondered.
How? Let's see, downtown.
I don't know why. Like, shit.
Nice. I was kicking around at downtown. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know Downtown's file name. I have no idea. Or Downtown's file name. I don't know. Freefall?
Freefall?
Yeah. Nice.
That's another one that I want to do, and I'm like, I have no idea.
His file name is Philip Arndt. I don't know.
Here's one without any arms for right now. But...
Ooh.
Overlord?
Yes.
Overlord.
Okay. Is he going to have the sleeveless arms or no?
Yeah. I want to go sleeveless arms.
Nice.
Nice.
There's a bunch of
Did you ever see the production art that Dave Dorman did of Overlord, where it was labeled as a Cobra Commander custom or figure. Yeah, the original presentation paintings by renowned artist Dave Dorman that he did for Hasbro was Overlord, but it was in shades of blue, and somebody, I think they scrawled on it Cobra Commander. So he was initially,
I did see. I think you sent that.
yeah, he's he was originally conceived to be a new version of Cobra Commander, but I'm glad that he wasn't. Overlord is kind of an overlooked character. Who am I kidding? Very few people remember who Overlord is. He didn't even show up in the Deke cartoon.
It's pretty obscure.
But all right. So I like the way that custom's going so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not really doing too much with this, but I just thought it was a funny build. I've seen other people kind of do these, but a Mountie.
Hey, you gotta love the Canadian Royal Mounted Police.
There's there's a G.I. Joe comic, right? I can't remember what issue, but there's a Mountie on the front.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
I want to say
I think that's G.I. Joe comics I ever got.
I want to say I think that's issue 98 or 99 because Rock and Roll's on the cover of it too.
Yeah, Snake Eyes, isn't it?
Yeah. There's three people on it. I remember Rock and Roll, and I remember the Mountie guy. I can't remember who the third one is.
I think it's like Snake Eyes version 3, but I'm not positive.
Looking on the twins.
Ooh. All right. Yep. That's cool. Gotta have the extensive Enterprise version of the Crimson Twins.
Yeah, I gotta do the yellow ties and stuff. I do want to eventually get to like a Marauder version. Right. So
nice.
I did some. I'll show you those here. I did the twins in a boss fight version. I've never shown these. Not super happy because I sculpted and I didn't like it.
And hold it up. No, wait. Oh, okay, let me see.
No, I think those came out nice.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I think those are probably the best.
I think those. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Tomax and Zema, but I do think
those are the best ones I've seen.
Yeah, I think those are my favorite customs of them I've seen.
Yeah, so absolutely. And I think what makes that work is their unusual parts.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, so I've actually had those two built for a while.
Shown today, he's using parts that nobody else has used, and that's what makes an awesome. To me, it's what makes an awesome custom. It's what makes it stand out. It's not necessarily what makes it an awesome custom, but it's what makes it stand out because people are like, "What is that part? Where'd you get that? What is that?"
So I'll show you something here in a second. It's a Marauder part that I used in an unusual way. I'll see if you can figure out what part it is. But so I eventually want to get to this guy.
The fridge. Yep.
Fridge, right?
Let's see. Incidentally, that comic was issue number 97. It's Rock and Roll, a Mountie, and it looks like a hunter or a trapper. He's got like a fur hat on. Yeah, so he's just like a civilian looking guy.
Okay.
But I just looked it up on Yojo's comic book archive. Yeah, it's number 97.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I remember that as a kid, like having that one. I always thought, like, I saw someone kind of do like a Mountie, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I want to put one in there.
Rock and Roll's file name, JD?
Craig S. McConnell. Born in Malibu, California. See, some of the birthplaces I know. Not all. I'm far worse with the birthplaces than the names, but
so to answer your question, right? Like you asked me what was the one I want to do.
Yes.
And I've tried this one 3 times and I cannot nail the look, but I want to do Skidmark.
All right.
Nice. I have tried it so many times and like I put paint down, I'm like, nah, this is garbage, and I just toss it.
Iggy and I are both huge fans of obscure characters.
Yep.
I love that character. I love the vehicle that he came with back in the day.
The Desert Fox was one of my favorite vehicles.
I wanted one so bad when I was a kid.
I never
saw it.
I remember distinctly in 1988 getting a Desert Fox from Toys R Us in Amherst, New York, which is about 45 minutes away. It's no longer there, obviously, but I remember coming out, and in the car, I ripped open the box. I'm not entirely certain my grandparents were particularly happy about that because I had a tendency to lose things anyways. Some things never change no matter how old you get. Thanks, Grandma and Grandpa, for being supportive anyways. But I distinctly remember, and I used that vehicle so much. It was my vamp replacement because it had long since lost my vamp.
Never saw one.
Yeah.
Love it. I even like the Dino Hunters repaint in the teal because that vehicle is so cool. And I'm so happy that you're making a skid mark. I don't care how many more times it takes you to get it, just get it. I want to see KR Customs version of Skid Mark because I like that character. Say what you will about the name. I know there's jokes. I don't care. I love that character.
Yep. All right, guys, we are rapidly approaching the 2-hour mark. This is where we got to cut it off because I got to go as well. So thank you for being on the show.
Yes, Johnny, I appreciate it. Thank you.
In the future, absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you, guys.
And fantastic work. Thank you for being on the show as always. And everybody, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. There will be links to KR Customs social media in the show notes. So Johnny, get those to me. I'm pretty sure I have your Facebook stuff, but if you have an Instagram or any other social media that you would like to point people to so they can see your work, please put that, please PM that to me and I will make sure those get in the show notes. And as always, thanks for watching, and we have a lot more planned. As you can see, I'm back in the country. I'm not going anywhere. We've got a ton of cool shit lined up for you guys. So thank you for watching. Johnny, thank you for being on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.